Know that we have this term in psychology and neuroscience, which is called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is our brain capacity or capabilities to change itself depending on the exposure that we have. Some neuroscience behind journaling and why after you journal or write your thoughts, every thoughts that you have or ideas in your paper, you feel at this or at this. I think you click on this video because you also wanted to learn how to journal properly in your own terms or in your own ways. But I mean, there's no proper way to journal. I think the most purpose or point of journaling is to know yourself better. So yeah, I also listed down parts on here in my little notebook where actually this is a creative notebook, creative endeavor notebook that I have. So every every ideas or every thing that I have in my mind for my creative endeavors are here. And so I listed down the parts for this video. First is obviously you click on this video because it is titled why you should start journaling, and also I wanted this video to be backed up by neuroscience because I actually search on it. I search, I because I just love knowing why things work that way, why it really correlated correlated or interconnected with science. And foremost, the first part of this video is all about my personal experiences on journaling and my journey on journaling itself. And also for the second is, yeah, I will explain some neuroscience behind journaling and why after you journal or write your thoughts, every thoughts that you have or ideas in your paper, you feel at this or at this, So yeah, first is I think I started journaling when I was 17 years old. Yeah, 17 years old. When I met my very first friend on social media. Yeah, shout out. And she told me that journaling really will help her a lot. But I was like, the idea of journaling for me in the past is so like, are you real? Like I never really get serious about writing all of my ideas or thoughts in the paper because, like, who does that? It's tiring. Plus, you were just repeating what you've experienced or what you're thinking or what you're feeling in a paper. So, and in the past, it just doesn't make sense to me. But over time, I trusted the process, and the very point of this me storytelling is I trusted the process, and also at first, part of my journal journey is I still write on my back when just starting journaling is I'm still writing in my native language that there is. And over the time that I'm practicing speaking in different language, which is English, and also writing in English, I love the process. I trust the process. I love it, and also I know at first if you really really are eager to like have your journey also in journaling or writing down your thoughts, the downside of that is you're going to face with yourself as if you're facing yourself in the mirror. You are going to, or you need to admit to yourself that you have this kind of uncountable thoughts, feelings, and also you need to admit that these are your flaws. Because in the very first place, I know that you click on this video because you wanted to write your thoughts down, right? Or have your journal journey. But because the very purpose of journaling is for you to identify yourself and to get to know yourself better. I mean, you wanted to know some people write romantically, so why wouldn't you invest your time also on knowing yourself, you know? So journaling is the best idea for that. Also, how about my personal experiences? Yeah. Also, second personal experiences that I wanted to share is when also I am in the process of journaling or writing all of my thoughts down. All of these experiences that I get to is no, the point is when you are journaling, you can get to repeat all of these cycles because you are now aware of your flaws. You are now aware of your patterns. That, oh, you're this kind of person. You are prone to ruminating your feelings, or you are prone to not putting boundaries or having enough self-respect to people. And now if you are aware of that because you're journaling, now you are aware of that, you are 75% of the time not going to repeat that cycle. So yeah, that's the benefits of journaling. Third is, yeah, it I think I think there's a lot of personal experiences that I wanted to share about journaling, but lastly, for this part one is I wanted to share that when I'm in the process of journaling, I feel really connected with myself. When and every time that I journal or my write my thoughts on the paper, after I write everything down, after I admit that this is the thing that I'm feeling or whatever that happened, I feel at ease and at peace, and I feel really connected with myself. I feel as if I just express or I leave my baggages or heavy feelings or emotions in a paper without anyone bothering, you know. So yeah, that's the last part. I feel really connected with myself when I journal. Also, for the part two is, as I said earlier, I'm going to explain the neuroscience behind the journaling and why we feel at ease when we write our thoughts, feelings, and emotions in a paper. So, as far as I research about it, we have this kind of stress responses that's going on in the part of our brain which is responsible for the memories with emotions, which is the amygdala. Yes, amygdala. You know, psych students know that. Yeah, amygdala. And also, yeah, I'm going to explain it. When we are so emotional or we are ruminating something or we are triggered or affected by circumstances or certain situation, whatever that is, our amygdala, the one that's responsible for our emotions, are is inward. I mean, it's active, right? So what's happening to us is we are so emotional, and sometimes, yeah, I've been through that. Sometimes when we're emotional, we get to decide also out of emotions, which is impulsively, right? And the thing about journaling is when we journal or write everything down on a paper, like literally paper, or write everything that there, like we are literally moving our hands with the pen and paper, we are accessing the or we are making the prefrontal cortex, which is in the part of our frontal lobe, also part of the brain, which is responsible for decision making and logical thinking and also rational thinking. So when we write, we are making our prefrontal cortex active. Also from the fact that we are expressing and putting our words, our thoughts and emotions, everything in a paper, it's making us think on paper. As if we are writing, while we are writing, we are also thinking, and at the same time we are making our prefrontal active. And now you are not emotional, but now you can decide for yourself in a more logical and rational way. And thanks to our prefrontal cortex. Yeah, that's just it, actually. Also, the explanation why some people, including me sometimes, are impulsive. After all this time, we just needed to like sit down, reflect, pause, and trust it. Whoever, whatever part of our brain is responsible for that. Yeah, guys. Hey, enough for the neuroscience backed or correlated with the journaling. We are now in the part three, which is rewiring the brain. Also, as far as I'm knowledgeable as a psych student, rewiring the brain is also part of neuroscience. But yeah, as far as I'm knowledgeable about rewiring the brain, it is correlated and connected with the journaling, writing down your thoughts on paper, because you were making your circumstances and whatever happens to you or whatever triggers to you real. And also, you are dumping all of your emotions and feelings or what happens to you in a paper, right? But did you know that we have this term in psychology and neuroscience, which is called neuroplasticity? And neuroplasticity is our brain capacity or capabilities to change itself depending on the exposure that we have. So, for example, we can we have the freedom to expose ourselves to new experiences that there is. But it's not just all about experiences, us exposing ourselves in experiences, new experiences. But we can also rewire our brain or have this term neuroplasticity on writing on paper and also in journaling. Because these things that will get us emotional or triggered, we can also change our thoughts on that. Like, for example, if I'm having this self doubt, I can turn that self doubt into self belief. And also, how can I able to like explain that to you all? I do that every morning. I mean, yeah, it's unrealistic, right? Like you just wake up in the morning and like write everything down. Yeah, that's it. I mean, at first, I'm having trouble with like the idea of writing it. Like the very first in the very first morning that I wake up, I'm going to write it. It's very unrealistic to me, and I'm a lazy person also sometimes. But I needed to have discipline on writing it. I mean, if you are just new to journaling, you don't need to like wake up in the morning and write every morning. You can at least dose by dose do it chunking. Do it like journal 1 to 3 days a week up until you have the tolerance now to write every day to the point that it became a habit or routine. So yeah, what I'm doing when I'm writing every morning is, I know as a human it's very normal to us that we have this kind of self doubt. We have this kind of belief that came from or deeply rooted from societal norms that there is, or societal belief or beliefs that we inherit from our families, right? But what I do is, because of journaling, I am now unlearning all of that. I am now replacing these sentences, these negative sentences or uncomfortable sentences for me, that if I don't believe in myself, I can just replace it using journaling. I mean, I know it's like you were manipulating yourself, but what if manipulating yourself or changing your thought processes on paper actually is beneficial for you? So that's the one act of neuroplasticity or rewiring the brain on paper. If you all have any questions, I'm really free to answer that on comment section for me to like really explain that further. I'm just going to like or I'm just going to make another video about it, neuroplasticity and rewire. For the fourth part and fifth part, I think they are just correlated with each other, which is titled Getting to Know Oneself and Feeling Connected When We Are Journaling. I think I already said this in the first part of this video. To get deeper with that, so what I mean by that is because when we journal, and me personally, my personal experience from on me on journaling is I feel really connected with myself, and also when we journal, we get to know ourselves. But the very first ingredients for that is we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be honest that we feel this way, that I feel this way, even though we know that if someone's going through our diaries or journals that there is, it's shameful, but take it, journal, write everything down as if no one is going to read that. You know, I'm going to also share my journal, what it's look like here. Yeah. Enough of that. As you can see, my journal is a lot of wordings, and sometimes also, especially these days, I journal 1 to 4 pages, and it's estimating in 1 to 2 hours of journaling. Like imagine writing or thinking on paper 1 to 2 hours. It feels freeing, it feels liberating, it really heals the amygdala, and it makes you logical and rational on your decisions, which is ref- which is the responsible part of our brain, and that is prefrontal cortex. Yeah. Feeling connected with yourself and getting to know yourself. When we journal, you're representing and making true to yourself, because obviously you're writing everything down. Also, I wanted to share how I journal so that if you were just new or wanted to start journaling, you can have an idea how to do it, because yeah, I've been through that also when I just started journaling or writing everything down on paper. I also doesn't know the term journaling before. I just know that I should write everything on paper. I mean, like, and that's it, like diary term. But yeah, when I journal, I especially start from the part where I introduce myself to myself. I introduce my feelings and emotions in the paper. That's the first part of my journal entries most of the time. And also, as if I am writing that for my future self. Yeah, keep in mind. As if I'm writing that journal entry for my future self, because sometimes I read my past journals that there is. If you can see them in the back, I think there are 5 or more. And yeah, I write it as if I'm writing for my future self, that this is what's happening today. This is what happened yesterday, and I feel like this. I feel happy. I feel, or sometimes I also write. I feel bliss. I feel fantastic or magnificent, or as if I'm so thankful about life. Every process of emotions that there is, and also I often wrote down what I feel, what I wanted to do in the future, and what I feel like in the past. So they are also in between. Actually, for me, at least for me, there's no proper way of journaling. I think the proper way of journaling is when we feel at ease after, because the very purpose of journaling is for us to feel at peace, at ease after, and to dump all of the emotions and feelings that there is, you know. But yeah, I'm not saying that journaling, like the very purpose of journaling is that, because sometimes also there are times that when I journal, when I already put everything down, I still feel happy. But yeah, the purpose of that is to just dump your emotions and feelings. It contributes for your peace, right? You like you're making real of what happened to you or your situation or circumstances. And also, what I wanted to add also, yeah, as I said also, is there's no proper way of journaling. I see a lot of videos in the internet, especially on YouTube, on how to journal properly. I mean, there's no wrong about it, but I think that it's alarming if you were just starting on your journal journey and you're so eager to like get to that step by step process. I think what will really help you is just be true to yourself. Be true on that paper. Like it doesn't like also what I wanted to add is I'm the the idea of journaling for me for aesthetic purposes doesn't really resonate with me because the very purpose of journaling is to get messy as much as possible in that paper, to be human. And when I say human, is it really correlated with being messy, with feeling all of this, with admitting all of your flaws in the paper. That's why I'm not really fan of aesthetic journaling or like even having beautiful penmanship on your paper. But I'm not against that, you know. It's just so alarming if even on the paper, even in our personal place that there is, which is journaling, we are still performing. So yeah, I think I get too deeper, but I just think about it tonight. You know, is there? Is the purpose of journaling is for us to be human. It will teach you how to be human, to acknowledge all your feelings and emotions, to name what you are getting through. That's what I love on journaling. And yeah, also journaling, lastly, is it will make you feel authentic as you are. Well, at least for me, that's what it made me. That's what made me feel. It made me feel really connected and authentic with myself. Like, finally, I have this kind of place or safe place that I don't need to perform, that I don't need to think about what other people's going to think about me. Because it's literally paper and you and your pen and you admitting all of your flaws and who you are in the paper. You know, like kind of safe place. That's why it's really beneficial for us to journal. There's a lot of benefits on that actually. So yeah, that's just it. I think this video was so long, but I really enjoyed talking here. It's been a while since I posted a podcast. Yeah, but also I wanted to share that these days I've been through a lot, but I'm still happy. I can say that I'm still happy because I'm still blessed. I have all of these genuine people around me, and I have this roof that I can sleep in. I have my books, and I have these amazing people that I met for every day. And also, I have me, you know. And yeah, the point is, as much as possible, I'm going to try my best posting podcasts and vlogs here. I know that someone out there is watching here, and I know that I think you all need my voice and my wisdom and my idea of life. And I know that that is my purpose in life. Finally, I know my purpose, you know. I know that what I'm doing, even in a very smallest aspect that there is, in a smallest gesture that there is, I know I'm helping someone. And yeah, Feel free to comment anything or any thoughts that you wanted for me to talk about, or if you wanted to educate me on this, whatever that I'm talking about, also in my past videos. Feel free to comment because I am reading all of that. So, yeah, thank you guys for always being patient.